Welcome back to another episode of Out the Bench Podcast. Hey, game one and the not the NBA Finals, NBA playoffs has arrived today. We're going to be talking about the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets game one, which ended in an overtime thriller. And before we get into that, because we got a lot to talk about, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Y'all let me know who y'all got winning in this series and in what number and what game. But let's get right into it. Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers, which the Denver Nuggets took a 1-0 lead today in an overtime thriller, 112-110. Now, I don't really know where to start with this game, but I'm gonna just say this: this is by far to me gonna be the best series of round one. Cause to me, they had that good real playoff feel. Now I watched the Pistons today. I didn't watch the Milwaukee Bucks in the Indiana Pacers series. I watched the Lakers and the Timberwolves, but neither one of those games had the type of feeling that the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets game gave me. And it ain't just about how you play on the court. It's about the crowd interactions. The crowd was into it. That's what gives it the true playoff feel. A good back and forth competitive game which came down to the wire. It was high level basketball at its pure finest, and that's what I love to see right there. High level basketball, especially when my team is not playing. That's all I be wanting to see. Even when my team playing, I'm a fan. I'm a basketball enjoyer. I'm a fan of basketball. So anytime I watch it, I be want to watch a high level game, and that's what the Clippers and Denver Nuggets displayed today. Pure basketball at its finest right there. If you missed that game, y'all need to go back and watch the highlights because it was absolutely a thriller. Now, it started off with James Harden. He was getting busy. I ain't gonna lie. He was getting busy in the first quarter, putting Nikola Jokic in hella pick and rolls. Beasting and feasting, getting to the rim every time. I'm talking about he was putting that man in so many pick and rolls where Nikola Jokic, he almost tapped out. I'm talking about James Harden was tweening and step backing and picking and rolling, getting to the rim left and right. It would look like a real layup line in that first quarter. I ain't lying. Zubac and James Harden pick and rolls is one of the most deadliest pick and rolls, two-man games in the NBA. And it's up there with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. I ain't lying. If you don't believe me, go look at James Harden's stat. James Harden had 36 points today, 11 assists. And he don't get the credit he deserves. James Harden has become one of the most underrated players in the NBA today because the persona that he been have throughout his whole career, him just being the scorer, him being a selfish player, him not being able to win with his style of play and things like that. But all I know, every team that James Harden went to, he elevated that team and he won with that team. People want to define winning with the ultimate goal. Sometimes it's only going to be one winner. In NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer, and tennis, and boxing, it only can be one winner. But just because you don't win the ultimate thing, which is obviously, NBA championship or NBA finals in the ring and things like that, that don't make him not a winner. He done went to multiple Western Conference finals where he was the best, Western Conference final where he was the best player. He took the KD Warriors with KD Steph, the super team Warriors, he took them to a game 7 by himself. With PJ Tucker and Clint Capella and guys like that as his second and third option. So we ain't gonna just disrespect James Harden like he ain't one of the ones. But yeah, James Harden, he put on a masterclass in this game one performance, but ultimately it just wasn't enough. Because when it came down to it, Denver Nuggets, they showed their experience, they showed their togetherness, they showed their poise. And ultimately that's how they came out of this game with a W. Now, I want to give a huge credit. I really don't know the Denver Nuggets new coach. I don't know his name. But I want to give him a round of applause for the coaching job that he did today. Because the adjustment and the things that he made, because he took risks. And the risk ultimately panned out for him. And what, a lot of new coaches and that's been in his shoes, that's gotten thrown into that fire, probably wouldn't have made the decision that he made. And I'm going to say this. Decision that he made going into the fourth quarter down the stretch, ultimately benching Michael Porter Jr., And in closing the game with Russell Westbrook was the best thing that happened to the Denver Nuggets today. To me, that was the storyline of the game. Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, to me, yes, Nikola Jokic did his thing. Jamal Murray chipped in. Aaron Gordon chipped in. Christian Brown chipped in. Everybody played their part, yes. But I want to say the main catalyst into the Denver Nuggets win today was Russell Westbrook. Because going down the stretch, I want to say when it was like 4 to 3 minutes left for the fourth quarter, Russell Westbrook, offensive rebound, put back layup, defensive rebound, got a steal. They go into overtime. He ended up getting a steal off James Harden, which ended up sealing the game. Let me not forget, Russell Westbrook hit a three to make them tie the game going into overtime. When the play needed to be made, Russell Westbrook, his hand was in the cookie jar. His fingerprints was all over this game, and I gotta give a huge shout out to Russell Westbrook for changing his outlook on this game, giving the Denver Nuggets the much needed positive energy that they needed, that extra spark off the bench. With a lot of people try to give same thing with kind of like with James Harden. Russell Westbrook, he get that same kind of flack too on his name. Especially with his tenure with the Lakers and stuff like that. We all know it wasn't just a good fit to begin with. But Russell Westbrook, he's one of those players too. He gonna do whatever it takes to win the game. We know he gonna play hard. He gonna give it all he got. Play 110%, and he a true dog. And that's what the Denver Nuggets needed. And he came out there and he gave them that extra boost. And like, to me, like I said, Russell. I don't know why I keep saying James Harden, but Russell Westbrook, to me, he was the main catalyst and the key factor into this game. Because without, like I said, the storyline to me of this game, and it was two storylines, but it was really one, because they kind of go hand in hand. Which the coach decision to bench Michael Porter and to go with Russell Westbrook and close the line up out with that, because that's a huge thing to do, especially getting thrown into that fire, never been in this position before, being in the playoff game. Michael Porter Jr. been there, he's a starter, things like that. And you went with Russell Westbrook over Michael Porter Jr. And those are the type of chess pieces that you gotta do to be able to, win games like that, steal games like that. And if you didn't make that move, who knows how the outcome of this game would have been. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Russell Westbrook, because if Russell Westbrook won in that game at that point in time, I think the Clippers would have won this game. But also, I want to say this: the Clippers, as much as the Denver Nuggets won this game, and I want to make sure I clarify that the Denver Nuggets did win this game. But just as much as the Denver Nuggets won this game, the Clippers lost this game as well. They had this game won. They got complacent. They started playing one-on-one basketball. They got away from what was working for them the first 3 quarters, which was, like I said, the James Harden and Zubac pick and roll 2-man game. Because even though it caused so many mismatches, you either gonna have to bring Jokic up, and like I said, if you bring Jokic up, James Harden gonna go right past him, get to the rim. That's easy layup. If not, what they did was they double James Harden. They gonna give him a hard double pause off that screen. And with James Harden passing ability, you pass to Zubac and you allow him to make a read off that. Now, what they were doing beginning of the game, like I said, they was feasting. When they were blitzing James Harden off that pick and roll, he was throwing it to Zubac. You had Chris Dunn, he was knocking down shots, or he was cutting to the basket, and he was getting easy baskets. Easy buckets at the lane. Same thing with Derrick Jones Jr. They went away from that and they started going one-on-one with him and Kawhi. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like that. But the thing is, I know that the Clippers and with Kawhi and James Harden, they was one of the best ISO teams in the NBA and things like that. But like I said, it's a time and place to do things like that, especially in the playoffs. Now, understand if it was like we doing the one possession here and there, but every time down the floor, that's not a good recipe. That's a recipe for disaster. If you look at it, to me, you start messing up the floor of the game. They start mucking up the game. You allowing the defense to be you allowing the defense to really load up on what you're trying to do instead of having, you putting them in them actions and you making them rotate and you making them have to, play both sides of the court, make them play the whole longevity of the 24 seconds instead of just one guy. Okay, we're gonna give it to Kawhi. Kawhi be Superman. We're gonna give it to James Harden. James Harden be Superman. Now we got somebody who's on James Harden or on Kawhi. We got somebody at the elbow. We got somebody at the low post, and we just gonna load up right here. And if you make the pass, we just gonna close out to him because obviously it wasn't a lot of movement going on. And I think that's where they left the Denver Nuggets off the hook here right there. Coach Ty Lue, one of the best coaches in the NBA, brilliant basketball mind, things like that. Which I know he gonna go back and watch film, and he gonna tell his team, and he gonna make sure in game 2 that they don't get away from what was working. Cause Ty Lue, he's one of the best game to game adjusters, one of the best in game adjusters and things like that. But like I said, you got to give credit to the new coach in Denver. Cause like I said, the difference was Russell Westbrook. I want to look. Hold on. Let me see, because I want to say, like, how they be doing like the play by play and things like that. I want to see. I want y'all to see like the type of real impact that Russell Westbrook really had on this game. The last 3 to 4 minutes of this stretch, cause I think he had what. Let's go to fourth quarter. And we're going to go down to the last 3 minutes. It say at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, Russell Westbrook with a defensive rebound. 3 minutes and 38 seconds, Russell Westbrook with an offensive rebound. 3 minutes and 37 seconds, Russell Westbrook makes a putback layup. 3 minutes and 13 seconds. 2 minutes and 52 seconds, Russell Westbrook make a cutting layup. 1 minute and 41 seconds, Russell Westbrook make an offensive rebound. 58.7 seconds left, Russell Westbrook with an offensive rebound. 24.1 seconds left, Russell Westbrook makes a 3-point shot, which made the game 98-96 right there. Will put them up 2 points. Now we're going to go into overtime. And we're going to look at, like I said, the impact that Russell Westbrook had on this game can't go unnoticed, bro. Just can't. In overtime, with 3 minutes left, Russell Westbrook got an offensive rebound. 3 minutes and 27 seconds, he made 2 free throws. A minute and a half left to go in overtime, he got an offensive rebound. Then in overtime, he got the game sealing steal on James Harden on the inbounds, will ultimately made them win this game. Russell Westbrook, he was the key. He was the main storyline in this game. Now, like I said, I'm interested to see how game 2 go. I'm interested to see if what the type of adjustments that Ty Lue do on Nikola Jokic and how they want to play that 2-man game. Now, I feel like they kept everyone else kind of at bay a little bit. Jamal Murray didn't get off too bad. Aaron Gordon didn't get off too bad. They kind of kept them at bay a little bit. The Los Angeles Clippers, they one of the best defensive teams in NBA. And, they got a lot of guys that can be able to throw at Jamal Murray. They got Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., got Kawhi. Jamal Murray, 21 points. That's cool. Aaron Gordon, 25 points. Obviously, you want to limit that a little bit more. You want to limit that to around 15 to 19 points. You don't want to give him 25. Because Nikola Jokic had 29 points, 12 assists. Russell Westbrook off the bench had 15 points, 8 rebounds. Russell Westbrook, let me say it again. Russell Westbrook off the bench, 15 points, 8 rebounds. Storyline of the game right there. Like I said, the last 3 to 4 minutes where the game started getting close and the game started getting tight, your hands started getting more tenser, nerves started getting more tenser. shots don't feel, you don't feel as loose as you was in the first quarter and things like that. Hey, Russell Westbrook, he showed up. And I just, and everybody watching this, I just want y'all in the comment section to say, W's for us. For real, W's for us, And y'all let me know who y'all got winning this series. I still got the Clippers winning in 7 games. I think, to me, they are the better team. From 1 through 15, 1 through 10, however many guys they playing. I think they're the better team, which, with that being said, Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the series. But I just think, like I said, the Clippers let one slip away. They had this game won. Even in the fourth quarter, I think the Clippers had like almost a double-digit point lead, or close to, or a double-digit point lead, and they end up slipping it away. Letting them get into the ball game, being careless with the ball, start running their offense. Which Nicholas Batum, I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Batum as well. He hit 2 big-time threes to keep the Clippers, from arm's length, keeping them away from them. And the 2 threes he drained, bruh, he would defender draped all over him. He barely had the ball in his hands. That was a veteran plays right there. That's what veterans do. That's why you're going to get veteran guys like that. They've been in high level playoff games, been in high stake moments to knock down those type of shots. But the Clippers, y'all got to do better at closing out those games if y'all want to win a championship, or if y'all want to beat a team like Denver. Like I said, to beat a team like Denver, who's well connected, who's battle tested, who got the type of chemistry that they possesses, and how well connected they are, you got to be able to be all on one string, be on one accord, and it's little to zero margin for error when you facing a team like the Denver Nuggets. Because if you let them get in arm's reach, as they show you today, you keep them around, you playing around with your food, you're gonna find yourself losing that game. Especially when you got to put, like I said, with Nikola Jokic being the best player in the series. You really don't want to, fall into the deep waters too much, because you're going to find that you ain't going to be able to swim. You're going to find that you're going to be in the 15 feet wave pool with no lifeguard on. And that's exactly what the Clippers did today. They had an opportunity to win it in regulations and end up blowing the game. They ended up losing the overtime, and that's just how it go. Well, like I said, this is going to be the best series in our playoffs. I don't care what y'all try to say. This series, to me, is by far the best series of round 1. And this series in game 1, it felt like a Western Conference Finals type of feel. Like, if y'all watched the game, if y'all didn't watch the game, bro, please, after this video, make sure y'all subscribe, like, and do all that. Before y'all go into the video, make sure y'all hit that like button, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. But go watch the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets highlights. Then they're gonna tell you that's how basketball was meant to be played. Little to zero mistakes, not a lot of fouls being called, tough shot making, good decision making, high execution at its finest, hustle, high level basketball, bro. That was chef's kiss, beautiful basketball, bro. Just watching these other games, they didn't have nothing compared to that type of game and that type of feel to it. The crowd, the energy, like I said, the play styles. But man, that's gonna conclude this video. But like I said, Russell Westbrook, he was the storyline of game 1 for the Denver Nuggets. If it wasn't for Russell Westbrook, Denver Nuggets would be 0-1 instead of 1-0. And that's all I got to say on this video. And make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And y'all let me know in the comment section who y'all got winning this series, even though it's 1-0, and who y'all got winning game 2. See y'all next time.